Hello everyone, this is Monique and I'm back with another project for Wild Orchid Crafts on behalf of their YouTube design team, The Wild Bunch. So if you've been watching the Wild Orchid Crafts channel at all this month, you will already know that our design team challenge for the month of November is to create a recipe box. So what I did was I decided not to actually build the box myself. I purchased the box and actually there's some recipe cards inside from Hobby Lobby. And the paper collection that I chose to use I found at Michael's. And it's their Recollections brand and it's called Rooster Provincial. So I thought it had a nice vintage feel, has a lot of the earthy colors that I really like, and yet is very kitchen themed. So you'll see I used 3 different papers. I created this label here actually using my Cricut, and these here are the Tim Holtz Alpha Parts. I decided to keep the embellishment fairly simple because I wanted to make sure that, you know, this was usable, because I'm thinking I might use it for myself. So in the corner here I decided to build a sunflower, and I used that using the Foundation Blooms in white. BM00046 is the code on that one. So I layered 3 one on top of another, and I colored it with my Lindy Stamp Gang sprays, and I actually used a couple different yellows just so that it looked darker around the edges of the leaves. I really like how that turned out. For the center of the sunflower, I used these new sparkling rhinestone embellishments, REZ033, and there's like a charcoal color one in here. And what I did was I darkened it up using my alcohol inks, and I actually used a little bit of the espresso and black because I wanted it to have more of a brown tone than it originally had. So that's what I did there. You can see here and also here I have a little bit of cotton lace. That one is the LA00003, and I just gathered it to kind of make it look like leaves. Right here I've got one of the Filigree Antique Gold Flower Embellishments, JW00009, and actually what I did was I cut one of these in half and just used half of it to create the 3 leaves there. Underneath the sunflower at the top I've got a couple of the natural skeleton leaves, LL00003, and I have 2 of the Gypsophila flowers on a stem, and the code on that is FS00081. Up in this corner I used a couple different size leaves. I used the 20mm two-tone rose leaf, LL00029, and also one of the green rose leaves in the 15mm, which is LL00015. And the papers, all I did was I used my Tim Holtz Distresser, and I took some ink and distressed the edges. Got my stamp there, and then on the bottom what I chose to do was I took a piece of, I'm not sure if they call this fun foam or what it is. It's a thin foam sheet, and I glued that to the bottom. I thought this would give it some grip on the counter so it wouldn't slide too much, and also it would help keep the bottom of the box protected and clean from spills and stuff like that. So if you open the box, you can see I've got a series of tabs. There's actually 9 of them here. I've got salads, appetizers, sauces, meat dishes, veggie dishes, casseroles, breads and pastries, desserts, and drinks. And I decided to decorate each of the different tabs. So the paper collection actually came with a sheet of tags. So what I did was I cut out a tag and put it in the center of each one. And I originally cut out cardstock from just standard black cardstock, and I thought it looked kind of plain. So I'm sure you can see this on the camera. You can see there's kind of like a honeycomb or chicken wire in the background. what I did was I had a Tim Holtz stamp, and I stamped it randomly on the cards and used just clear, super fine clear embossing powder just to add a little bit of decoration to it. And you can see that the papers themselves have some gloss to it right there. So I thought it coordinated well with the paper collection. And then I did faux stitching around the edges of all the tabs. So you'll see throughout all of the tabs I used similar blooms throughout, actually a variety of them. I tried the small white poinsettia blooms in the 25mm BM00079. So you can see I've used 2 of them on this card, and you'll see them throughout the rest of the cards. And this green one here is actually the 1-inch bloom here, BM00040. This bottom orange colored one is a 50mm BM00042. And then layered on top of that, I have a 38mm BM00045. And all of these I colored using my Lindy Stamp Gang. I actually painted them, and that's why they don't look very shimmery. But then I used a little bit of Distress ink with a blending tool on top just to bring out the dimension. And some of them I sprayed with a glitter, sometimes just with water, just so that Distress ink kind of blended in. You can see in the center of the flowers I've used a few different things. This here is just a gold color brad, but throughout the different tabs you'll see I've used the, let me see here, I've used some of the rhinestones, and they come in mixed sizes, and those are the taupe rhinestones, SP00029, and they come in 3, 4, and 5mm in this one pack. This one here is actually the 5mm. And for the 2 smaller ivory colored pearls, I used the 3mm pearls here. You can see I'm running low. And this is actually SP00021 is the code on that one. So the next tab, and again, I used the chicken wire background and the stitching in all the tabs, and just a different tag on each. You can see that I used almost all the same blooms as on the previous tab, although this center green one is from this pack of 30mm blooms, BM00038. And you can see I have a larger rhinestone there, which was from the 5mm pearls, and the code on that is SP00008. And then you can see I have a small black one there, and that is from the 3mm silver black self-adhesive pearls, and there's actually a mauve or purpley color, and the code on that one is SP00017. This is the 3rd card, and again, all of the same pearls. This one here is a 5mm black from the silver black lilac pearls in the 5mm, SP00004. Aside from that, all the other products I've already shown. This is the 4th tab. And I think what I'll do is I'll just quickly go through them, because I think I've gone through all of the products that I've used now. Actually, this is a new one here. This bloom here is the 35mm BM00037. I think I used almost all of the different blooms, the different white blooms anyways, that they sell at Wild Orchid Crafts. I love them because they color so nicely, and you can really create a lot of different looks and a lot of different flowers using just the few small blooms there. So that's it for my recipe box. I hope you all like it. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. As usual, I will list all of the products that I've used down in the description box below. And go check out the Wild Orchid Crafts channel. There's lots of new projects being posted every week by all the other design team members. Thank you so much for watching and have a great night.